That's exactly why they fired her from projects like Toy Story 5 for doing voiceover work, Pirates of the Caribbean remake, another untitled animated Pixar film, and a whole lot more. Firing of Zegler comes after Zegler created more issues behind the scenes. Disney is beginning to fail with their damage control efforts, and it's really not working at all to any degree. We already had a 70+% drop at the box office just a couple of days ago, which is very alarming for the Walt Disney Company.
Disney, you're gonna have to redo your film again, because this woman is a
movie that is now on pace to lose over $300 million for Disney
After becoming one of Disney's biggest disappointments, the company faced a difficult choice. They decided it was time to let Rachel Zegler go, despite her being a central figure in the film. The failure of the movie left Disney with no other option but to part ways with her.
From the entire studio, from the entirety of the Walt Disney Company, to no longer be associated with any production movie.
Did you really think Rachel Zegler would quietly walk away from this? Not at all. Instead, she made things even more dramatic. She refused to just accept the situation and leave without a fight. What she did next left everyone surprised and talking. Instead of stepping back gracefully, she started speaking out, defending herself, and drawing even more attention to the issue. It wasn't just a simple exit. Rachel was determined to make sure her side of the story was heard, and the way she handled everything definitely turned heads and got people talking for all the wrong reasons.
We already know that they lost well over $300 million for this movie. As we speak, there is really nothing going on with this film when it comes to box office results. Everything is beginning to drop significantly. We already had a 70+% drop at the box office just a couple of days ago, which is very alarming for the Walt Disney Company.
A big reason people are pointing fingers at the failure of the movie is RachelZegler. As the lead actress, she became the focal point of the controversy surrounding the film. Because of all the negative attention, Disney made the quick decision to remove her from several upcoming projects. They didn't hesitate to distance themselves from her, as they knew the negative publicity surrounding her involvement was too much to ignore. The situation became a liability for the company, and they chose to cut ties with Rachel, hoping it would help save face and protect the future of their other productions.
Zegler, we already know that she is the main contributing aspect as to why this actual movie failed at the box office.
She was originally lined up for big roles in Toy Story 5, Pirates of the Caribbean, and several Pixar productions. Disney planned to make her a recurring star, but now she's no longer part of their future plans. Other major studios like Warner Brothers and Paramount also began quietly stepping back, no longer eager to work with her. Her career is now at serious risk. Even smaller films seem unsure about casting her. But this wasn't just about one movie failing. Behind the curtain, Disney lost millions from scrapped deals, including a Snow White event that alone cost them over $20 million.
Firing of Zegler comes after Zegler created more issues behind the scenes toward the Disney executives claiming that they broke her contract deal by canceling all of her events dressed up as Snow White, where she was supposed to sing at places like Times Square, Las Vegas, Disneyland, and World, and so much more. The canceled events added up to a total of, get this, $20.1 million.
This is where everything took a wild turn. Instead of quietly stepping away or staying out of sight, Rachel jumped into full damage control. She began speaking out, defending herself strongly, and sharing her side of the story. She argued that women in the film world are treated unfairly when they express personal or political beliefs. According to her, female stars often get criticized just for having opinions. She brought up gender inequality, hoping to gain support. While her points made sense, many thought this wasn't the right moment, especially after such a huge financial failure tied to her name.
Now, Zegler delivered the following. To be quite honest, I think this business can be very cruel for women wanting to pursue or by expressing themselves in the public. Far too often are actresses ridiculed for sharing a political opinion or their views on society, and I think that's the number one flaw.
She took things up a notch by saying that most of the power in the movie business belongs to men, and women have a tough time making progress unless they stay silent and follow the rules. According to her, speaking out often leads to women being pushed out or ignored completely.
RachelZegler recently delivered the following. I think when you are a woman in this industry, you tend to be in a far worse situation than a man, since we all know this industry is still heavily run by the male demographic.
And then came the viral moment that had everyone talking. Rachel suddenly mentioned Donald Trump, completely out of the blue. People were confused, wondering what he had to do with a fairy tale remake. Her comment made headlines, but not in a good way. It caused a wave of online backlash and became another reason why she started trending for the wrong reasons. On top of that, she proudly supported the decision to completely change the classic Snow White story. She said the original love tale was outdated and needed to be modernized. So, instead of a prince, they introduced Jonathan, a thief. Rachel called it empowering, but fans didn't agree. Most viewers weren't asking for these changes. They just wanted a good film.
A powerful woman of what she needs to be. A woman that doesn't necessarily need a prince. It's why we decided to create a Jonathan-type character as a bandit or this outlaw.
Now let's get into the part that stirred up a lot of conversation. The classic Snow White is known for her skin being described as white as snow. So when Disney chose Rachel, a Latina actress, for the role, it immediately raised eyebrows and sparked a lot of debate online. Instead of staying silent or addressing the concern calmly, Rachel fired back. She said the casting choice made the character feel more modern and easier for today's audiences to connect with. But many people didn't see it that way. A large number of viewers felt disconnected and believed the change didn't reflect the original story at all.
Doubling down on how we had to change the character's background. Obviously, she's talking about how Snow White needed to be called Snow White because she survived a blizzard, not because of her skin color, not because of her appearance. That was all changed by the Disney company.
But Rachel didn't stop there. She started going after people who didn't like the changes made to the Snow White remake. She criticized those who weren't fans of the updated storyline and even complained about how uncomfortable it was to wear the costume and work long hours on set. Many people were shocked by her attitude. After all, acting is hard work, especially when you're playing such a famous role. Wanting to be a princess comes with responsibility, and complaining about the basic parts of the job didn't help her case. She also made a pretty bold comment during one of her interviews. Rachel said, "Guys, read my lips. I have no regrets about anything I said." She made it clear she wasn't sorry for anything and felt proud of standing up for modern women in film. According to her, it was important to challenge outdated portrayals of female characters. That message might have worked in another setting, but doing it while the film was crashing at the box office made it seem tone-deaf. While Disney watched its huge investment fail around the world, earning only $142 million after 2 weeks, Rachel kept acting like everything was fine. On her social media, she and her team continued to promote the film as a massive success, calling it the #1 movie globally. But audiences weren't buying it. Many joked it was only #1 when it came to ticket refunds. Behind the scenes, Disney was panicking. They tried to keep promoting the movie and acted like nothing was wrong, but the damage had already been done. Other studios were getting ready to take advantage of the situation, with big titles like the upcoming Minecraft movie expected to leave Snow White in the dust. Insiders are now saying that the film might not even make it 6 weeks in theaters, before being quietly moved to DisneyPlus. This failure has become a wake-up call for Disney. They're now reconsidering all of their live-action projects. Some, like The Sword and the Stone and Hercules, are being reworked, delayed, or even canceled altogether because Snow White turned into such a massive flop. Executives at Disney are reportedly split over what to do next. Some still believe Rachel has talent and can bounce back. Others are calling her difficult to manage and a public relations nightmare. And honestly, after everything that's happened, it's hard to blame them for thinking that way. So now the question is Rachel Zegler's career over before it even properly began? She had just stepped into the spotlight, but things are falling apart quickly. This entire situation sends a clear message to new actors. Yes, speak up and stay true to who you are, but be wise about when and how you do it. The audience can be unforgiving, especially when millions of dollars are involved. And let's not forget the studios either. If something has worked for decades, maybe don't try to change it just to push a message no one asked for. The original Snow White was beloved by generations. Messing with that legacy didn't just hurt Disney, It may have also cost Rachel her future in Hollywood. Now there's even talk that Disney might try to recover their $130 million loss by holding Rachel partly responsible. So, what do you think? Did you expect any of this to happen? Let us know your thoughts. There's definitely more to come.